And welcome, Ian's back. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Extra Tyne. It's great to be back with my three compadres. I would say three amigos there, but I think that's already been stolen. Welcome to Extra Tyne on a Friday night. It's 8 o'clock. It's the only place to be, really. I mean, you could be in the pub. Very much for those people who are joining us live on the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel. I believe my friend who sits next to me at the match, Guy, he's also possibly joining us if he's managed to get his internet sorted. He didn't know how quite to join. So hopefully, Guy's there as well. Brilliant. Yes, I am going fishing. I've got my Nike hat today. I'm due a haircut, so I thought I'd just maybe just dim it down a little bit. Well, here we are. And now the end is near.
I was in the middle of getting Little ready for bed, and he wanted to join in. And then I've marked all because I used Sharpies, and I've marked all the kitchen table, the dining room table. So I'm a bit stressed, but good. I'm good. Life's good. I've missed you, to be honest. It's been a while.
I know. I've had some 6-year-old party commitments going on over the last couple of weekends. So we've been trolls, we've been dancers, we've been all sorts. So that's done now. But finally, we're back. And as you can see, just below Laura there, fighting back from COVID, we have Scott. How are you doing, Scott, mate? Are you okay?
I'm getting there. Apologies if the voice is a bit rough this night, but
it's very nice. Husky, doesn't it?
I'm a bit Barry White. I've been coughing my lungs up all week, so I should be. But lucky to be here because I should be in Lebanon right now. But unfortunately, the Rona got us and I couldn't fly, so you've got us instead.
Yeah. Well, our commiserations to you, but Lebanon's loss
is our
gain, obviously. And it's been a great week in the world of Newcastle United. Anybody will have seen an epic performance on Monday night. It really was the best way to rule off, underline the season, send off the season. That's the one. You see, I'm a little bit out of practice.
Sign off, not send off.
Sign off on the season. There you go. Really brilliant way to sign off on the season. If you want to see the full match review, make sure you check out the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel, and the lads from the All the Smiling Faces podcast have done a really extensive show. But it wouldn't be us if we didn't kind of take it. Oh, there we go, Laura. First one of the evening. It wouldn't be us if we didn't share our thoughts on what was, quite frankly, an epic evening. So, Laura, have you dealt with the bubbles there? Am I ready to come to you?
Yes. Yeah.
Laura, what a night, eh?
Unreal, unexpected. Like, I knew the atmosphere was going to be good because of obviously the war flag display and things, which was brilliant, by the way. But I just didn't expect us to go at them the way we did, and for them to be so poor and us to be so good. But I must admit, I'm glad we're not going into it because it was teacher training day, so we spent a long time in the pub prior.
Ooh.
So
is that what teachers do on training days, is it?
Well, no, I got an early. I was in training, but we got an earlier finish. So
I love that.
I ended up in the pub a bit too early, and we had too many. So it's a bit of a blur, to be honest. But I just remember it being like amazing.
Yeah,
and
it was.
I think that the pints affected us. I cried like quite a few times. I was very emotional at the end when they did the lap.
Hold on a minute.
Mm-hmm.
You cried?
I don't cry at anything but football. The only times I've cried in my life are Jonas's goal and then possibly
Laura,
Tottenham.
I don't think people will understand the significance of you shedding tears. I mean,
I have got a cold heart, but I did. That's how Newcastle affects us. That's the only time I ever cry. People don't understand. Like, I don't cry at films, sad stuff, anything doesn't affect us, but Newcastle United just has that hold on me. And we went down the front to see it, and my dad looked at us and he went, "Don't cry, the cameras will get you." And I was like, "I can't help it."
And was it ugly crying as well, Laura?
No, it was quite like, just, like gazing into the distance crying.
Right.
Like,
was it like a single solitary tear and that's all you gave up? And to you, that's real crying?
Yes.
like a native Indian when the reservation's being bulldozed and just a single tear down the cheek.
You've lost us, but I'll agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Ian, did you find it as an emotional experience as Laura did? How did the match look to you?
You know what it is? Obviously, with Wall Flags putting on literally the best display I've ever seen in a football fixture in England, probably. Obviously, you got all the South Americans and the Europeans that are doing all their stuff with the TiVos, but for that just to be fan led was absolutely unreal. And I was a little bit annoyed by the coverage because on the telly, you got, I'd say, maybe a minute of it throughout the build up. But the game itself, I think it's been the best overall performance over a course of 90 minutes under Eddie Howe. I think we controlled the game so well. And to be honest, I was the opposite to Laura. I expected to go at them simply because it was the last home game of the season, and sort of it would have been like the 3 points would have been the cherry on top of the ice. Is that the right phrase?
Cherry on top of the cake. I'll take that. We don't mind mixing our metaphors in this place. Do you know what I mean?
Icing and cherries with the cakes. For the sort of turnaround under Eddie Howe, and obviously after the takeover, given the poor start that we had. And again, something that annoyed us was the coverage after, like, the post-match analysis. It was all about how poor Arsenal were, not about how good we were. And yes, Arsenal were poor, but that's because I feel that we made them very, very poor. But yeah, it was great to see. Obviously, the only thing that I was a little bit disappointed for, but like a little bit gutted, was Callum Wilson didn't get a goal, because I thought, like, on his return, he was absolutely sensational running the line. And obviously, I know Laura would have probably had a heart in her mouth when she's seen the pictures of his tooth, but he's all right now. So he's still a handsome bastard.
He still looked absolutely beautiful even without him.
He did. Yeah, he did.
But what was your question? How did I enjoy? Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a good match. I think that was
in summary
as well.
Yeah, to summarise, it was good. Scott, we touched on there, or Ian touched on there, just that outstanding performance, and we've seen, sprinklings of that since Eddie Howe's taken over. I think I throw my memory back to the Leicester game in the first half. We were absolutely brilliant, but we didn't, maintain it. It's a tough pace to maintain. But is that what a glimpse into the future for you?
I hope so. I mean, the standard's been set, hasn't it? So it's nice that we can make those performances. Excuse me. Sorry, COVID's creeping into my throat. It's nice that we can do those performances, but I think what was nice was everyone in the team put in a performance. I don't think if you were rating those players, there's not a single player that gets below a 7 or even an 8. Like, everyone was pulling their weight, everyone put in a shift. I agree with Ian. I would have liked to seen Callum Wilson get a goal, and I think had their defender not stuck his foot out in front of him, he probably would have had a goal, because that ball was only gone in one direction, and it was in the back of the net no matter who touched it. So it was good. It was nice to see. And like you say, normally we'll see that maybe over 45 minutes, or even, over maybe 3-4 games. If you think about last season, you'll get maybe that one little glimpse. So it's good to see a decent performance, and it just felt like everything throughout the whole season just boiled down to that one game, and everything just kind of fell into place, and you're just thinking, shit, this is what it's going to be like, hopefully moving forward. And it was good. No tears though. Well, I was streaming with tears, but for other reasons.
Laura, did this give credence to the fact that I've made an excellent prediction that we are going to go for top 4 next season? Surely. Arsenal were fighting for top 4. We more than competed with them. We're going to add to the squad. Surely. 4th place has got to be a target.
Funnily enough, I was listening to a podcast driving away. I can't remember which one it was. I think it might have been put on the Tyne, and that your prediction and what speech about why we should go for 4th and why that's not unrealistic, and it's not being over expectant, and I totally am on board with you now. I think, yeah, like Scott said, and Eddie Howe said in his press conference today, the standard that has set the standard.
Yeah.
And now going forward into the summer and with some new additions, like why not push for it? But the thing with Eddie Howe is he always just wants to be the best that we can be, and if that just so happens and we improve on Arsenal, which we were brilliant, why not go for it? I'm all for it.
You know, speaking of those, you know, recruitment, which is something we're going to come to now, and you know, Laura, you're talking about, you know, big players coming in, and I think there's one that's been doing the rounds on Twitter this week or the last, you know, since the game on Monday. Pictured in a back garden in a Newcastle shirt. I think everybody's probably seen it by now, but Billy Mucklow, formerly of, I believe, Towie FC. I believe that she is looking to get herself a move to St James's Park. I believe she's got some connections that run deep in Newcastle. Scott, do you think this would be a big move, or do you think it would be more of a media move?
Oh, definitely one for the media. You know, it's one of those marquee signings that you were expecting when the owners took over. You know, kind of doing like a Rubinho, and I think should be exactly the same.
Yeah,
I don't know who it is. I know it's Andy Carroll's Mrs. to be, but apart from that, I don't know who she is.
Ian, I think we know what we're talking about, really, though, aren't we? There's been a bit of a love-in for between these two players since they were at Lyon, and I believe he's called Lewis Paqueta.
Yep.
Paqueta. Yeah. Pictured with our blonde-haired, mercurial midfielder, Bruno. I mean, this just added a bit of juicy fuel to the fire, didn't it, Ian?
Gorgeous. It did. Everyone will be on playing watch probably from the afternoon that he flew in up until hopefully when he does sign. But no, I feel like Bruno was maybe he's the one that's took the risk to come to Newcastle where they were, and I mean he's hit the ground running. I remember his press conference. He said that his game isn't about scoring goals, and he's in half a season he's the second highest goal scorer.
Yeah,
which is pretty mental. But just obviously the caliber of what Bruno can offer, and then you would hope to attract someone like that. I don't think every signing in the summer is going to be of the caliber of Bruno. I don't think we're going to go out and get sort of 5, 6. I was going to say 5, 6, 7, 8 there, but I wanted to start singing steps. But I don't think we're going to get like mega stars. I think maybe he's a marquee signing. He's definitely of that caliber, Paqueta. And like you say, it's a nice little bromance. And to have a midfield, basically Brazil's future midfield of Joe Linton, Bruno and Lucas Paqueta would be pretty good to have at Newcastle.
Absolutely mental, wouldn't it? Like
just the Brazil squad.
The Brazil squad, crazy.
I think though, you know, since Joe Linton and Bruno have really come to prominence, and I know we were talking at half time, Laura, and it's really interesting how different people see the game, because you and I were talking with Stephen and your dad about, you know, Matty Longstaff looking very much, Sean Longstaff looking very much out of his depth in that first half. Whereas, I mean, second half I thought he was amazing, but a lot of people were saying first half he was great as well. Yeah. So it was really interesting to see the reports, you know, other people talk about the game, and I love how sitting in one position you can think one thing and then somebody else thinks something completely different. But how do you think, you know, a lot of people, I think we accept that maybe John Joe Shelby might be on his way, possibly the way he's kind of talked towards the end of the season. But how do you think Joe Willock is going to do you think there's going to be a nice little combination with, you know, say we do, you know, I think we will make a midfield purchase, but do you think there's room there for Willock, Joe Linton and Bruno in that midfield? I think that whets my appetite. I don't know about you.
Yeah, but I also think it's quite interesting because I was listening to the lads on Monday and somebody mentioned Willock for underperformer of the season, if you like. I'm sure that was it. And I think it was Mark went, God, I forgot about Willock. And because we're so good at the minute, and whoever comes in to replace someone just steps up their game's been brilliant. You kind of do. Like, I forgot about Willock until I seen the pictures of him walking on the pitch, and he's like own clothes. I was like, he got this, Joe Willock. I'd forgot about him. So yes, if he I'm more than happy for him to obviously stay and see what happens. But again, like anyone who replaces anyone, I think we're quite fickle in the sense that you just forget about the others. A bit like Wood. Like Wood wasn't playing, and now it's all about Wilson. And
yeah. I mean, I think Scott, the difference was clear, wasn't it, between Wilson and Wood in that game? Just while Laura sort of mentioned it, what Wood gives you and what Wilson gives you is pulls apart.
Absolutely, and it's no disrespect to Wood. We play a different style of football. When Wilson's on the field, it's more balls across the ground. It's pass and move. It's quicker paced. We're not using a target man like we do with Wood, where Wood's winning the balls, or he's making them battles, but there's no one around him to feed off that. And I think that's more what Wood is like. And I'd like to see Wood and Wilson play together, because I think that would be very dangerous, and that would be reminiscent of the Shearer Ferdinand kind of era, where you've got one big lad and one lad who can knock the ball in the back of the net, and they just play off each other all the time. I'd love to see that, but I don't know if the 4-4-2 is a formation of past, shall we say. I don't know if many people use it. But absolutely, I think Alan Saint-Maximin in that interview said, look, if I've got someone to cross the ball into, I've got someone to deliver the ball, the goals are going to come. And you almost felt with him, even with Wilson on the pitch, he upped his game because he knew he had someone who was going to get on the end of stuff. He was put in the box, the passes and everything. I mean, his assist was to Joe Linton to get the ball in the box for that first goal. It just picked everyone up, didn't it, with Wilson on the pitch? It's a weird kind of mentality shift. It'd be interesting to see who starts on Sunday.
Yeah. Just touching on Alan Saint-Maximin, Ian, I think he's been probably since the turn of the year, possibly maybe February time, he's been quite maligned, hasn't he? He's sort of taken a lot of criticism from a lot of people. But the last few games, do you think he's shown that he's got that buy-in? He's seeing what is developing at Newcastle and simplified his game, has he? Has he gone back to basics?
I'm hoping so. I think definitely Arsenal, because my thing with Saint-Maximin is, yes, he's got that talent. Even when he was going through a sort of a good spell of when he was getting the assist or the goal when we're terrible. Granted, he did carry with, but even in the games where he's carried away, where he's scored goals that's got the points, it's literally only been 5-10 minutes of brilliance over the course of the whole game. He's never really had a steady game where he's been awesome throughout, where I thought Arsenal, he was less explosive, shall we say. So he wasn't but his overall work, I thought he did really, really well. He was doing the simple stuff. He was cutting back, he was passing, he done really well for the shot where I think Ramsdale got down and saved it. He done really well there. And then, like I say, he's passed to Joe Linton. Maybe 5-6 games ago, he would have just tried to carry that himself. He was a lot less greedy yesterday. He looked like he was playing part of a team. So, and even like I say, even though he didn't get an assist or a goal, you don't mind it as much because he's working for the team rather than just himself. That's what I thought against Arsenal anyway. I thought it was probably one of his better games the second half of the season. So I'd hope he'd carry that into next season.
I mean, keeping the theme of carrying on into next season, I think there was a couple of tackles there that carried on until next season. A couple of bodies were snatched. I was really lulled into a false sense of security when we watched Bruno in those initial interviews, where he was quite softly spoken, like almost like, obviously he's speaking in his native tongue, and then when he's spoken in English, he's quite like softly spoken. But that tackle on Odegaard in the I think was the first half, where body checked him and Odegaard was down for a long time. Laura, that, and especially Jamal Lascelles as well. I mean, we love a good tackle, don't we, surely? Beautiful.
Yes, and it just shows that the desire to win the ball back and keep going for the team, and like we all, and they're not rash. Like back in the day, they would be like rash and mistimed, and like
desperate.
And yeah, that's the word, desperate. Whereas this, it was more like we need to get it back, back, and it just shows that whole mentality that they've got at the minute, rather than just frustration and just lunging into a tackle. It's more disciplined, if you like.
Yeah, it's controlled aggression, we'll call it.
Yeah.
Controlled aggression.
The best kind of aggression.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose while we're on the topic of Jamal Lascelles, I don't know if you saw Eddie Howe's interviews today with the press, and he did speak about Jamal Lascelles and his professionalism. Particularly, he hasn't been in the side, but he's shown his true colours as a real captain, being able to take that. I mean, Laura, I know a lot of people think there's going to be this raft of players going out, but do you think Jamal Lascelles, well, I suppose it's two-pronged. Do you think he's going to be there, and do you think he deserves to be there next season?
In terms of play, I don't think he's good enough to be there for where we want to step up our game. However, listening to Eddie Howe today, I don't think he'll leave. I think he'll be very much a key integral, if to pinch Eddie's word, an integral part of the squad next season, and come in like on Monday night when needed. But I don't think he'll be in starting lineups. I don't think that's the direction we're headed. We need to move on from that, like Lascelles. But I think I always change, and I think if you looked back a few weeks ago, I said we need to stop being so sentimental because of how ambitious we need to be. But also, I know what Eddie Howe was kind of saying today, that you can't be rash and just get rid of loads of players, because that would spoil the dressing room and that would spoil the mentality and the unity that they've built. So I think he'll be very clever about who he lets go and who he brings in, and it won't be massive shocks like Lascelles. It won't be right. He's out, the club captain is out the door just like that. I don't think that's how he'll work.
And I think as well, Scott, I think that next season, hopefully, we're going to be playing a lot more with the ball. Whereas, we've seen our defenders where we've been playing largely without the ball, 30, 40% possession if we're lucky. Do you think that it's worth keeping some of these core players like Lascelles, possibly Hayden, and see what they're like when actually we've got a progressive coach, we've got a progressive team, we've sprinkled in better players around? Do you think that would be, reason to hold on to some of these players that are going to keep that core dressing room group together?
I do. I think in terms of Lascelles, you've got to look at what centre backs we currently have, and we have got a fair amount. And there's two that you'd get rid of before Lascelles. And as much as we all love Freddy Fernandez, he's obviously not in the plans for Eddie Howe at all.
Yeah.
And Kieran Clark, especially not even being in the squad, you'd like to think those two would go before Lascelles would go, and would bring one in to replace those two, because you don't need. Was it 6 we've got? You don't really need that many unless you get a really bad injury through. But then Dummett's just signed a contract, right? So he's going to obviously stay for at least a year. He can fill in at centre back. In other areas of the pitch, I think centre midfield is probably one of the only areas where we could actually afford to lose someone like Isaac Hayden, because we've got quality to replace him, and also we can bring in quality which will be a lot better than him. And that's no disrespect to Isaac Hayden. He's been an absolutely outstanding player for us. But I think even he realizes, listening to him talking podcasts and other things, that maybe his time is coming to an end. You heard John Joe Shelby talking about it as well. Maybe it's not straight away, but I think this season, January or next, it's going to be away there. In terms of how many go, I think it'll be like 5 or 6. I don't think it'll be a huge number like people think like mass exodus. We'll get rid of 15 players and we'll bring in a whole new squad. You can't do that. If you look at the teams like Fulham, who spent 120 million that year and got relegated, they brought in an entire new starting 11 and it just didn't work because they don't gel with each other. They haven't got that foundation. So team spirit is important, and I think the mentality of the team is also important. And just bringing in too many faces too soon will just. A lot of them just like, well, I'm going to be off next. Like I'm next in line to go. So why should I care? So I think Eddie's smart and he'll do it the right way.
Yeah, Ian, do you think there'll be any surprise departures? Like a lot of people talk about Miggy, maybe some players who are actually more regular. Like the Longstaff situation hasn't been resolved yet. Do you think we could be seeing the end of some of those players tomorrow. On Sunday.
Tomorrow. I'm not too sure. I think I agree with Scott. I think obviously there is a bit of deadwood to shift, and like you say, as much as Fernandez has been, even to an extent, Kieran Clark. He was in the Championship, but looking at that again, it's what Laura's sort of said the last few weeks. You need to let go of sentiment and the direction that you want to go. Like, I think it was the Man City game. I had put a tweet out that literally 6 of the 18 of the squad were in the Championship with her, and that was however many years ago. So you need to be cutting the likes of Kieran Clark, Fernandez. I wouldn't, to be honest. I've said this a couple of times. I think especially his performances of sort of when he's came in while Fraser's been out. I think Miggy's earned himself a chance next season. I don't think he's going to be a main feature. I think we'll probably look at someone wide to give Saint-Maximin competition, to give Fraser competition. I think he'll be a very good squad player. So I think, but like I say, on the back of his performances, I think he definitely deserves a chance. But again, it's the same with the likes of Shelby. Like, he's upped his game massively since Howe came in, and he's been, other than injury, he's been virtually undroppable. So I would like Scott was saying, it's not going to be a case of where you're getting rid of half your squad, because you're going to have to bring in players to replace them. And like you say, you don't the sort of mentality and the energy that we've got around the club at the minute, you don't want to sort of upset the apple cart. I think Eddie Howe will be very, very clever in how he does. And I pointed out as well, when we're a couple of weeks after we had signed, sort of after the January transfer, it doesn't look like he's signing he's signing players of good quality, obviously, because they're playing in the Premier League.
I hope so.
Yeah, but he's also he's looking at what kind of people they are as well. Like, obviously Dan Byrne, local lad, Kieran Trippier, obviously very established international. Bruno, very, very hungry and sort of wants to prove himself. So I think, like I say, it'll be more players of that caliber, and then maybe 1 or 2 sort of marquee signings would be the way that we're going to go.
I think one thing to also bear in mind is every player has a price, right? So if someone comes in the summer and says, we'll give you 12 million for Lascelles, you'd be a fool to not sell him. Doesn't matter about the team mentality. Like, you're not going to get that offer next season or the season after, or whatever. So if someone comes in for big money, or what you would class as big money for that player, you kind of have to go and get rid of him, because you can then, that just moves your plan up a bit, and you can bring someone in to replace him a bit sooner.
Yeah. I mean, I think we can all agree that it's going to be a very, very exciting summer, interesting summer. I think we'll probably get bored of many of the links, and I wouldn't like to be whoever updates the NUFC.com transfer links over the summer. I mean, you might as well take the summer off work and just do that job full time, because that is going to be a full time job.
I could do it.
Sure.
I do our Facebook page, and it's bad enough.
But Laura, the names would all be spelt wrong, so like would be in
who cares? Doesn't matter.
Does it? Doesn't matter. I mean, we wouldn't sign any of them anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So it's been, it's going to be a really interesting summer. Now, kind of moving away from Newcastle just for a moment. There's a lot of controversial days going on in courts at the moment. There's obviously the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial going on, and of course
really worried. Where are you going with this?
There is the famous Wagatha Christie trial as well that's going on between Rebecca Vardy and Colleen Rooney. So what I thought I'd do today, there's been a lot of social media discussion about some of the court sketches that have been going on in that particular trial. Case in point, this one.
Who's that?
Picture of. Did anyone know who the hell
Vardy?
this is?
Jamie Vardy.
It's Steptoe's son, isn't it?
Jamie Vardy, yes, it was Jamie Vardy, yes. And also, I need to find. There's a couple of there's some cracking ones of Wayne Rooney. Absolutely brilliant ones of Wayne Rooney. I'll come and grab those. So, what I thought I'd do to my fellow presenters here on Extra Tyne is I thought I'd ask them to do some sketches of their own Newcastle United players. So
30 minutes before we came on air, though.
Yes, yeah. Well, that's that's fine. That's fine. Nah, like you've just got to be able to be flexible. You've got to be able to be, you've got to be able to be adaptable in these situations, Laura. And I have absolute ultimate faith in you that you are, well capable. And in fact, I've seen the results, Laura, and which everyone will see in a moment. So we all had a little go at some of our own sketches of our, maybe it's not necessarily favourite Newcastle players, although I think Laura might have done one of hers. But we thought we'd do some sketches. He has a brilliant one. This is the one I'm talking about. There we go. There's Wayne Rooney there, looking like an Icelandic weightlifter. And
looks like that Scouse boxer. I can't remember his name.
Tony Bellew.
Bellew,
does look like Tony Bellew. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, Colleen's cheekbones look absolutely on fleek there, don't they? Wow, there's some contouring going on there, isn't there, Laura?
The highlight is unbelievable.
Absolutely incredible. So we thought we'd get involved with this. So some of them have got names on them, some of them haven't. So I'll be interested to see in the comments what people say. So first, I'm going to show Raza, who's often on our show. We haven't seen him for a few weeks, but hopefully he'll be back really soon. But he was one of the first to send us a picture. It was actually a pre-prepared picture that he'd already done, I think last year at some point. But I'm going to show his little girl. She did one, and this is a former Newcastle United player, played alongside Alan Shearer.
Is it
in the comments? Anybody guess who that might be?
Do we know this? Because I was so rushed, I didn't see.
No red.
It's got to be. It's Les Ferdinand. Come on, it's Les Ferdinand.
Is it?
Owen.
Look at those forearms.
I thought it was Michael Owen.
Look at those forearms. Look at those forearms. It's got to be. It is. Yes, it's Les Ferdinand. And of course, I couldn't not do Razaz, although he has put his name on it. In true Art Attack style. There we go. There's his picture of Peter Beardsley by Raza, age 38. I think 38 3/4 plus VAT at the moment now. That's a pretty good effort, isn't it?
It's not bad.
Yeah, that's a good effort. Right. Okay, so let's get into some of our little contributions to this. Laura, I'm going to go to you first. An absolutely epic picture here. I think you could definitely get a job at the Crown Court. Anybody guess who that might be? Now, come on.
If it didn't have the Northern Rock, I'd say it was an attempt at Kevin Keegan.
I thought that as I finished it, which is why I put Northern Rock.
Northern Rock.
I was like, someone is going to say that, and it's not. But it kind of does look like him now.
It's. I think Michael's got it there. I'm sure everybody did anyway. It's Colaccini. That is an absolutely epic picture, Laura. Under such, you can actually by the tight curls of the hair and the frantic scribbling, I can tell how stressed you were.
I was calling you every name under the sun. Like, why does he do this? Like 7:30.
Yeah. So and on the other side of that, Laura, what was on the other side of that piece of paper?
Me shopping list.
A shopping list, yes, excellent.
You're just going to walk. You're going to walk around Aldi tomorrow like that, aren't you? And then it's just going to be a picture of. I was going to say Kevin Keegan. It's Colaccini.
Oh, I go to Bolden Asda. I might get lynched to that one.
There you go. No, they'll all be watching that telly.
There'll be one there. You'll be fine.
They'll all be outside bins or whatever watching the tellies there. So
Dixon's,
right? Okay. I think we're gonna go. I'm gonna go Ian now because Scott's outdone with technically anyway. But Ian, I believe did your little laddie do this? Did he get involved with this one?
If you put the picture up, I'll tell you. No, they're both.
Oh, all right.
No, the top one obviously is mine because I'm a little bit autistic.
Autistic or autistic?
The jury's still out, to be honest. And then me little lad, because Joe Linton's his favourite player. I don't think you can. Oh no, you can. You can see the little number red 7. But he wanted us to explain that obviously it's a Brazil flag, and then he's wrote B for Brazil and N for Newcastle, and then in the little square below it are magpies.
I thought he started writing. I thought that was Butler. I thought he started writing Brazil and ran out of room.
I tell you what, mind, he's not losing many shoulder barges, is he? Look at those shoulders.
Noodle arms.
I mean, arm wrestles, he's probably going to struggle, but shoulder barges, no problem at all. Absolutely belter. Absolutely belter. Shout out to some of the comments as well. Thank you very much for those people for getting involved and giving their suggestions. And we got a new member as well, Jimmy Angel. Sounds like a detective. Jimmy Angel. So thank you very much for Jimmy for becoming a member. And this is the type of stuff that you'll get on Extra Time. Random, terrible pictures. Scott, I'm going to come to you now. Scott, your picture. Again, unfortunately, just like Laura, you couldn't find a piece of paper, but as you can see, Scott lives in Dr. Evil's technological lab, and he's done his on the iPad. So, Scott, would you just take us through this picture?
It's a picture of a previous Newcastle player. I don't know what else you wanted to say. I can tell you who it is, but I don't know if you want that yet, do you?
I feel I might know who it is.
Yeah, Tom's got it.
Yeah, Tom's got it. Yeah, it is. It's Gaza.
Oh, then no. I thought it was Barry Venison.
Yeah, yeah, it could have been.
Barry Venison.
There was no behind the scenes talk between me and Laura for curly hair. We just kind of both went for that. Yeah, I went for Gaza.
I mean, that is absolutely.
It could
epic.
be Bonnie Langford as well.
Brilliant, absolutely class. You see, this is the top quality content that you get. £2.99 become a member, you'll get more of this shite. So I'll give you mine, and I'm sure I reckon Tom will get this. If you can get the player and who he's scoring against, I'll be very, very impressed. Okay.
Are we allowed to shout out, or will I not even get it?
Have we seen this?
No,
you haven't seen it. I picked him for a reason. It's very current.
Ooh. I think I know who it is, but I don't know who he's scoring against. Is it Andy Carroll?
It's not Andy Carroll. That's a McEwen's top.
That's a McEwen's Ogre top. That.
Oh, sorry.
An Essex McEwen's.
You said current?
He looks like weird.
No, his. How can I say it without giving him? Part of his features is quite current in the new world of Newcastle United. No, it's not Alex Matthews.
I get it. Is it Terry Hibbert?
It's not Terry Hibbert. Oh, Raza's in there straight away.
Oh, that's who I meant without the teeth.
It's Malcolm Allen, because he had a gap in his tooth.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Now the game. Yeah, I've got a few people coming in. It's not Sheffield Wednesday. It is actually Aston Villa. There you go. I mean, now come on.
It's not a bad draw, that actually.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, it could be. By the way, I'm changing the photo there just in case you weren't sure.
Looks like he's got a bit
from one to the other. Just so you know.
And his left leg.
His trailing leg's gone a bit wonky, but apart from that, he did well, mate.
Yeah. I mean, it's.
How long did you take to do that? Did you have the half an hour as well?
Yeah, I did it just before I came on. I picked because I've got a gap in my teeth. So me and Callum Wilson and Malcolm Allen share one key feature.
That lovely Sunderland fan.
So yes. So there we go. I think now, if anybody wants to at us on Twitter, if you can at me at Banksy1892, I'll be happy to take your sketches of Newcastle players from past and present. The more amateur, the better. I feel the more amateur, the better. So there we go. That was just a little thing I thought I'd just.
It was like that. What's that Twitter page that does all the Panini? Is it Panini Cheapskate or something?
Yeah, Scott was talking about this before. Scott, what's it called again?
Panini Cheapskate, I think. They did have to change their name. They were called something else, but like I said, they got sued by Man United, so they had to change everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got one of the posters somewhere. All the old Newcastle players. It's really good. I'll dig it out and I'll tweet a picture of it.
Yeah. And El Grande, his right hand was behind his body, I think. But there we go. Anyway, there we go. Yes, I mean, maybe we should raffle these masterpieces off. We could do them as a 4, couldn't we? And like raffle them off and give them money to the food bank. I'm sure we'd raise 55 pence or something like that. You never know. Maybe if Laura signed them and handed them over in person, we might get make it a few more quid, Laura.
I'll do it.
There we go. You heard it here first. There you go. So just before we finish, I thought I'd not go on too long, Laura, tonight. I know you don't want me to waffle on for too long. I just thought it was, because it was quite current. Again, we're going off Newcastle United topics, but it's all right. We're a bit extra. I would like to get your opinions on, the latest, the Everton game yesterday, the Nottingham Forest game as well, and players and fans coming together on the pitch. I mean, there was the videos of Ollie McBurney with the Sheffield United, the Nottingham Forest fans. There's the Port Vale Swindon game. Laura, what goes through your mind with that? When that you see that type of thing beamed live across.
Just what you're thinking, like. I tweeted about it. I just think it's absolutely disgusting. I think you can't possibly be a normal human being and think that is okay to antagonize and goad someone. And whatever he was saying, I don't know, but he was clearly like, his hands were in his face. You could sense that it wasn't just like a celebration thing. He was antagonizing him and goading him and obviously saying something he shouldn't have been, sticking his two fingers up. And Vieira is totally within his right to react the way he did. I don't think Vieira, I think he probably will get punished. Will he? Something happen to him? It shouldn't. I don't think it should.
He's almost certain to be given a touchline ban, a massive fine. Scott, what do you think? Do you think he's going to be in the dock for that?
Like I said, he shouldn't. But judging from what the FA said today, I think they're going to have to set a precedence on not only on Vieira but also on maybe some of the fans as well. Obviously, the lad in Nottingham Forest has already been sentenced, hasn't he? Or he's already
been jailed,
got jail time. They just need to start like enforcing the rule. And I know that sounds like, you cannot do this, you can't. But like, this players' safety is at risk, and even in celebration, it shouldn't happen. Just stay in your seat or get outside the ground and go to the pub and celebrate there. What do you need to be on the grass for? Like, what is it? Why? And I think Raza put it in the comments. Actually, we will end up going back to fences around the touchline and riot police in the stadiums. I think the clubs need to do more, but I also think some of the pundits need to do more as well. Because I mean, you'll see it like on a cup final or on a playoff final where it'll happen, and then the pundits will be like, "Oh, look at the atmosphere, isn't it great? Look at them all." It's like, no, you shouldn't be saying that. You should be condemning them for what they're doing. It isn't the thing to do. It should be completely like, villainized almost, so that people don't do it. And I think if all the clubs do is go, right, anyone who was on the pitch gets a 10-year ban. We've got your faces on camera. We can easily do it. Like, people will stop, and it'll stop like tomorrow, because people don't want that to happen. So I know the FA, or the statement they put out today, they're coming down hard on it, and I think the clubs need to as well.
Have we ever went on the pitch? They haven't when I've ever been there.
In the 80s, I remember it.
I think, it was a famous game. I'm sure Marty and some of the probably older, I mean, it was before my time, but I remember we played Nottingham Forest in a cup game, possibly in the 80s. I'm going to go early 80s, late 70s, and I think it was a two-legged game, and I think we were losing, and I think there was like almost like a semi-planned pitch invasion to kind of get the game called off. I think I could be completely wrong. I'm sure
that sounds familiar, but I think
someone will let me know.
We lost the next leg or something. I think was it the Plymouth game where the first season we're in the Championship?
Possibly. I
think. Oh, and then the friendly.
Yeah.
Was it Doncaster or Darlington?
Darlington. If Sammy scores one,
if Sammy scores.
But I think as well, it happened. Like I've seen most people on Twitter are condemning it and condemning the pitch invasion and things. But also, I've seen a couple of high-profile Twitter accounts say, like, "Oh, celebration, please let them celebrate." That's all well and good, but it happened to us at West Ham against West Ham when Jonas, like, nobody went on the pitch then. We all just celebrated in our seats. Like, that's the way it should be. You celebrate with the people around you, not the players, but they're going to spoil it for everybody else, because I don't know if you've seen the video, but it was one of my friend's little boys was one of the ones that hugged my dad on Monday night. And that was lovely. And there was no fear for his safety or anything. The stewards did try to stop them. They were only 14, 15. And they hugged him and it was great and it was lovely. And then they left him to it. And if that is now probably going to have to stop, because they're not going to let them go anywhere near the fans now.
Right, the flip side of that as well, I think it might have been put in the group chat today, the Everton fan that literally... I mean, I don't know if she was just feeling kinky and she wanted to spank the pallet. I can't remember which.
Very angry.
But like, literally, it's like, I know it's not like an assault that's like going to put him in hospital, but besides the point, is like literally over the advertising boards hitting a player. Like it's absolute. Like if you think about it, if you just strip it back to like everyday life, those players, for all that they're in like another realm, because they're elite athletes, they're doing a job. Like, it'd be the equivalent of someone coming into my office and like punching me in the face just because it's just absolutely absurd.
Sorry about that. I didn't mean to do that. Can I just say, well, we're not saying that people shouldn't celebrate, and we're not saying that Newcastle fans haven't done this. We're saying it's wrong. Yeah. You know, it's you can celebrate elsewhere. You can celebrate in the stands. I mean, the day we got promoted to the Premier League was the best day of my life in St. James's Park, because unfortunately it was my last day in St. James's Park, because it's my last day in the UK. No one was on the pitch. Like, we were all celebrating. We've won the championship. It was class. Yeah. Beforehand, I think away there was a pitch invasion when we did secure Premier League survival. But it doesn't mean it's right. Like, it doesn't mean that it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, and I think it's worth for balance to say that in that video footage you did see some really switched on Everton fans who kind of shepherded Vieira back. I mean, it's crazy how they're still going across to the other touchline to, they've got to make their way all the way across the pitch to get to their change room. But I think respect to those fans for not engaging with that type of behaviour and actually doing the sensible thing and getting them off the pitch. And let's not forget, we had a horse puncher as a fan, so we can't really throw
knackers from everywhere.
You get knackers.
You can't tell them all. You can't.
Everyone likes a drink. No one likes a drunk, as they say. But yeah, exactly. So I think it's been a. I just thought I'd have a quick chat about that, because I think it's really.
But they all were asking Eddie Howe about it the day, weren't they?
Yeah, it's an interesting debate, and I think Eddie Howe's quite right in saying that you've got to think about the player's safety, the manager's safety. But that's really, really, really important. Something else that's really important.
Certain grounds as well, the dugout is like at the other side of the pitch. They've got to walk past like an entire half stand of players.
Well, potentially,
fans. Sorry,
us. We play at Burnley. The change rooms in the corner. They're going to have to make that walk. Well, I think probably in either cases we could be at risk. If Burnley stay up, they'll be celebrating. Fantastic for them. But if they do get relegated, the Leeds game wins and we win and it doesn't go their way, that there could be a situation going on there. Just to kind of lighten the mood slightly, really interesting news this week about the young lad from Blackpool. I'm trying to think of his name now. The Blackpool player,
Jake Daniels, is it?
Jake Daniels, yeah, Jake Daniels, who's come out. This, I think, was this week. There was
it was the night we played Arsenal.
Yeah,
right. Night. Yeah. I think it was. You're right. So
17-year-old, is he? If I'm right.
Yeah. I mean, you could, what balls to kind of, in such a masculine environment, we'll say, of a modern day league football player. At his age as well, which, I mean, I was astonished to learn that he was only 17, and to hear him speak so eloquently, to speak so clearly, and to have such a really amazing take, an amazing aspect on the world in general, and the way that he's kind of, he's handled himself is like, I mean, it's amazing, isn't he? And it's absolutely fantastic. What,
it is.
What can you say?
What's really sad, and I don't want this to come across like a negative, is that it's a big deal. Like people like it doesn't matter. You like your race, your religion, your like sexual orientation. Like they're just people that want to do the best for themselves in life. Like it genuinely doesn't matter. And I feel it is a little bit sad that like it is such a big deal because it should just be like it's 2022. Like if someone of the same sex, right, and like it's not affecting anyone's life. Like it is, but fair play to him, especially like you say, especially the young age that he's at, and like you say, quite a masculine environment in terms of in the stadiums, things like that. Fair play to him. Take me hat off to him.
Absolutely amazing there, Laura. I mean, you teach young lads and lasses in a sometimes hostile environment, like in the northeast up here. It can be quite rough on people, and I mean, what an inspiration to those young people to see that representation of a young, proud gay man playing his football, playing his trade, trying to make his way in the game. A real inspiration.
Yeah, definitely. And when I was absolutely astonished when I found out he was only 17, when it came out on the Sky Sports News, I was in the pub, so I couldn't hear what he was saying, and I haven't managed to hear what he's said since. But just what he's done is just absolutely like you say, inspiration. And hopefully, well, I've got no doubt that nothing will happen to him, nothing bad will happen to him, that he'll have no what's that word? He'll have no repercussions about repercussions, like nothing, like I can't even think of the word, like whatever. But I don't think so. Then hopefully it will persuade other people to think, well, he's done it. He's only 17, so I'll do it. Like nothing's happened to him. Nobody's changed their views on him. It hasn't affected his football. He hasn't lost his place in a team. He hasn't been sacked. Not that that would ever happen, but you know what I'm trying to say. So just absolutely like it. Like I feel like I'm repeating myself, but at such a young age, it was just shocking. Not in like a bad way, but just shocking that he was so young and he had the bravery to do that. And like I was just like in awe of him, I feel like.
Yeah, really inspiring. And I think talking about chance and things, and he was asked about that in his interview, and he actually his answer was, I'm going to paraphrase this probably really badly, but he kind of said, well, I accept that that's going to happen. You're going to get trolls, you're going to get people who are going to say bad things, but I think we live in a society now where I don't think you would get that en masse chanting of
when I said that, I meant like mass chanting. Yes, of course.
Of course.
Idiot.
But I think what
his friends, his family, his teammates, his workmates, his staff, they are not going to treat him any. That's what I meant. I knew
but what he did say was that those people, whoever they are like either paying, they're coming into a stadium and paying to watch him play football. They're online paying subscriptions for Sky, and like that's funding his career.
Chant his name when he scores a goal.
But they're funding his. He's like, well, they're paying my wages. So if they want to come and abuse me but pay my wages, well, that's their way of if that's what they're going to do, that's what they're going to do. And he kind of had this real sense of being able to rise above that sort of thing. So. I just thought we'd touch on that just towards the end of today's show, because I think it's a really, really inspiring thing. And I know, people say, like Ian saying, it shouldn't have to be that way. But I think until you're that person, that gay person who is closeted, and I think until you're in that position, you'll never really understand what it means, the significance of it, to come out and just live your real self. And what he said was, the day after he came out to his parents, I think he scored 4 goals in a reserve game against or something. So
weight off his shoulders.
Weight off his shoulders. So anyway, I just thought we'd talk about that really.
Can I just touch on one of the comments as well? Just because,
of course,
not in a bad way, but someone's just said, like, why does the media make such a big deal? I think it's only because it's the first person that's done it, and hopefully now it will persuade other people, and then eventually it won't even become a thing, and it won't be such a big deal, and it won't get major news coverage. But he knew that was going to happen because he was the first person to do it. So I don't think they were doing it in a bad way. It was just the coverage that it was always going to get with him being the first one.
Yeah, it's just amazing, really inspiring. So, and just before we finish, we have had an entry into our sketching competition. Did I say competition? Yes, Laura. Yes, it is a competition. Our fearless leader. We're on the telly. Our fearless leader, Chris, there has got a sketch there now. If he's drawn that, then I am Mother Teresa. There's no way that he did that sketch. Surely.
My dad had the exact same one.
That is straight from the Quayside market back in the 90s.
Yep.
Definitely.
It's exactly where
we
my dad
name those
got his
players?
from.
Top left.
Rob Lee.
That's Rob Lee.
Gillespie. Check.
Middle there.
Beardsley.
Keggy at the top there.
John
Barry Benison, is that? Scott Salas.
We've got Gillespie.
Oh no, it's not it.
Who's
Gillespie
the one
under Rob Lee? Aye.
Pete Beardsley.
Who's the one under Gillespie?
Who's the hand?
Ooh.
Right. Is he? Oh my God. Who is that? Is it Andy Cole? Maybe.
Possibly, you know.
I think it might be.
Barry Venison, and is that Paul Kitson at the very bottom there? On there? Yeah, that looks like Paul Kitson. So, Chris, an absolutely sterling effort there. Laura,
no,
what were you laughing at there?
Nothing. It's getting on my nerves. I'm just not going to say anything.
Oh dear. I think we could be in trouble. Right.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
All right. Right. So thank you very much. I really appreciate you three joining us on a Friday evening. I know you're all very busy. Well, apart from you, Scott, I know you're going to be tucked up in bed now with some Manuka honey and some Lemsip and probably some
hot black currant.
Half a pack of Strepsils I've been through the day, so I'll get back on them.
Happy days.
Black currant ones now. Lovely.
I think Adam Telford, shit pictures. Thanks very much for that. Rule Fox, maybe it might be Rule Fox.
Oh, maybe Rule Fox. Aye.
Good shout. So, like I say, thank you to you three, and of course, thank you to all the people who've joined us live. Lots of people joined us this evening, so I really appreciate it. Thank you to Marty, to Raza, Daryl, Adam, Michael, El Grande, Fishing Rods, Tony, Michael,
my
Tom,
friend Holly.
Your friend Holly Sinton as well. Adam, Michael Palmer. I'm sorry if I'm missing anybody. Tom Lynch, of course, Blue Rhythm Boy. So thank you very much for those people who joined us. It was really interesting. Thank you, Freddie, as well. Really interesting. Some good conversations going on in the comments there. Always interesting, always respectful. That's what we are. It's Extra Tyne. So stay tuned to the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel. There'll be things coming up. Hopefully, possibly a match preview. I'm not sure who's doing that one, but of course there will be an end of season a review, and I'm sure we'll take part in that as well. We'll get the black book out and we'll have a look at our predictions for the season. You might, Ian. You might. And we'll see.
It's like a pesto gravy, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a good one, Ian. Well done. We'll see how our predictions turned out. So, like I said, thank you very much. Everybody, enjoy. If you go into the game on Sunday, I'm very, very jealous. Hopefully, we'll get ourselves out. We might see each other and have a few pints for the game against Burnley. I'm not sure if it's on normal telly, but
I won't. I'm in lockdown.
Oh.
And you also live in Amsterdam.
And also in Amsterdam as well, but I could come over.
Yeah. Right, okay. So thank you very much to everybody. And we will see you after the Burnley game. Enjoy the game and have an absolutely fantastic Saturday and Sunday. Everybody wave. See you later, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.